long time no see. Welcome to Soul Trek. This episode, a change is as good as a rest. A little confession to make. Believe it or not, normally Soul Trek and Morning Message, which preceded this version, I normally did those in one or two takes. Usually one, sometimes two, once, maybe twice. I did it I had to take three takes. A couple times I joked, take 54 or something like that. But just that introduction, because I started a little bit differently, took me several takes before I got it right. So let's see how the rest of this goes. Just wanted to share a quick little story with you. It was when I was rector of Bridgewater of Port Hawkesbury with Ayrshire. I took a week to go on a retreat, and I went to Nova Nada, which was a retreat center in the southern part of Nova Scotia. I don't think it's there anymore. But they had, hermitages, little cabins spread throughout the woods, and I booked one of those, and I was going to spend the week there. There were a couple of, because there are other people there, it wasn't all on your own, but it was essentially on your own. There's a couple of meals and some prayer time that you did in community. The rest of the time you were basically on your own. I had one of the monks who would come and visit me daily, check in with me, talk with me about where I was at and what I was doing and what the purpose of that retreat was. My purpose really was just to kind of sort out where I was, what I was doing, and those sorts of things. And I kept a journal the whole time. And throughout that journal, I realized about halfway through the week that, living on my own as a bachelor in Port Hawkesbury, probably the thing that I didn't need at that time in my life was a solo retreat, a retreat where I was essentially by myself for the week. And I talked it over with the advisor that they had assigned to me, and we both agreed that it was probably a good idea for me to leave. It was, I was there 3, maybe 4 nights before I left. And but part of that reflection has to do with Holy Week, which is coming. And I know that, I can remember a time when during Holy Week, things pretty much stopped. There are parts of the world where that week is a week off of school so that people can go and attend worship services and that sort of thing. But I can remember even in my time as a priest, that you wouldn't rent out the hall that week. Scouts and guides would be canceled. Just things didn't happen. You wouldn't dare have a meeting or anything like that during Holy Week. So as we approach Holy Week, it's good advice for me to encourage people to take some time away, to take some time apart, to do some Sabbath time in prayer and that sort of thing during Holy Week. But I think that there's some truth to the idea that a change is as good as a rest. That what Nova Nada offered me was certainly something very different from what I was experiencing, but it also gave me the clarity to see that it wasn't just kind of just in a sense more of the same, more of being alone that was needed. That perhaps the change I needed was to be interactive with more people, So I think that for me, approaching the holy time, the Sabbath time of Holy Week, isn't just about kind of separating ourselves from others. It's really about creating some sense of change, to see this as an extraordinary week and to do things during that week, whether it is adding prayer or quiet time or whatever. It could be that, but it could be something else. It could be going for a walk. It could be interacting with people. It could be calling up people you haven't called for a while. Just anything that kind of changes up our mood, changes up what we're doing. So when I say a change is as good as a rest, what I mean is those changes that we make in our lives should be like a rest, like that Sabbath rest that God hopes for all of us. So as we approach this holy time of Sabbath, yeah, sure, do something. Allow something into your life that creates that change, that brings about that sense of Sabbath rest in your life. Don't ignore the significance of the week in terms of our Christian journey, of our time to walk with Christ through this extraordinary series of events that begin with the triumphant entry into Jerusalem and people waving palm branches, to his death on Good Friday, to ultimately the resurrection, and that huge message that God gives us about the tremendous love that God has for us, because God wants us to experience life in its fullness. And one of the ways that we can bring that about in our lives is to find times of that Sabbath rest in our lives. And sometimes that means some kind of wonderful, big, exciting change in our lives as well. So that's my hope and prayer for everyone, that you find a way to make Sabbath rest a reality during this Holy Week. And it might be through a huge change in our lives. Thank you.